Welcome to the heart of Brussels, a city where history quite literally fills the air, intertwines with the present, and lives in every stone. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey through narrow streets, magnificent squares, and ancient buildings that hold the secrets of centuries. You've likely heard of the grandiose Grand Place, the royal splendor, the cozy cafes, and the delicious Belgian waffles. But behind every facade of this city lies a story, the story of kings and merchants, artists and craftsmen, travelers and adventurers. Brussels is more than just the capital of Europe, it is a place where culture, architecture, and the unmistakable spirit of freedom merge. We invite you to experience the city not merely as a beautiful image but as a living being that breathes and pulses with the memories of the past. We will delve into eras of great achievements and harsh trials, marvel at the beauty and elegance of this place, discover its unique character, and understand why it has captured the hearts of people for centuries.
Our tour begins at the central station, which is easily accessible by public transport from other districts of Brussels as well as from various cities across Belgium and Europe. In this video, we will showcase the key landmarks in the center of Brussels, the Old Town, which you can explore on foot in a single day. A map of the entire route can be found via the link at the end of the video. The history of the Grand Place is presented in a separate video. We have designed the route to save you both time and energy by guiding you along the shortest path from one point to the next, without missing any interesting spots along the way. From the central station, we head to the Cathedral of St. Michael and St. Gudula, one of the most significant and beautiful Catholic churches in Brussels.
Along the way, we'll take a brief look at the history of Belgium and Brussels. Landmarks take on new meaning when you understand their backstory. This allows us not only to see the sights but also to feel the atmosphere of the place and absorb its spirit. This is what makes a journey more intense and unforgettable. Belgium emerged as an independent and sovereign state in 1830, and today we will visit places associated with this historic event. Brussels has been mentioned since the 8th century as Brasila, with references to the settlement being situated among marshlands. In Flemish, Brock means marsh and Sila means dwelling, so the name translates to settlement by the marsh.
The area of present-day Belgium was inhabited by humans as far back as prehistoric times, as evidenced by numerous archaeological findings. During the Roman Empire, these territories were conquered and incorporated into the province of Gallia Belgica. The Romans left a significant impact on the history and culture of the region by building roads, cities, and fortifications. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the territory of modern Belgium changed hands several times among various Germanic tribes. During the Middle Ages, powerful feudal states such as the counties of Flanders and Namur and the duchies of Brabant and Luxembourg emerged. These states played a pivotal role in European trade and politics. In the 15th century, the Belgian territories became part of the Duchy of Burgundy, a period marked by cultural and artistic flourishing. The Burgundian dukes established a powerful state that extended from the Netherlands to Switzerland.
After the death of Mary of Burgundy, the Burgundian inheritance passed to the Spanish Habsburgs. In the 16th century, the Dutch revolt began, during which the northern provinces broke away and established the Republic of the Seven United Netherlands. However, the southern Netherlands, including present-day Belgium, remained under Spanish rule. Following the War of the Spanish Succession, the southern Netherlands passed to the Austrian Habsburgs. This period was marked by increased centralization and a focus on Catholicism. At the end of the 18th century, revolutionary French troops invaded the Netherlands. The Austrian Netherlands were annexed by France and became part of the French Republic. After Napoleon's defeat, the Congress of Vienna in 1815 decided to unite the southern and northern Netherlands into a single kingdom. However, cultural and religious differences between the north, the Dutch, and the south, the Flemish and Walloons, led to widespread dissatisfaction among the population. In 1830, a revolution broke out in Brussels, aimed at ending Dutch rule.
The Cathedral of St. Michael and St. Gudula serves as the cathedral church of the Catholic Archdiocese of Mechelen-Brussels. Dedicated to Saints Michael and Gudula, the patron saints of Brussels, it stands as a remarkable example of Brabantine Gothic architecture. As early as the 9th century, a place of worship dedicated to St. Michael existed on this site. In the 11th century, a Romanesque structure was built here, which was elevated to a collegiate church in 1047. After the relics of St. Gudula were transferred to the church, it was given the dual name Collegiate Church of St. Michael and St. Gudula. The foundation stone for the current Gothic structure was laid in 1226, but it took 250 years to complete all the intricate details, resulting in a building that reflects various phases of Gothic architecture. In the centuries that followed, the cathedral underwent numerous major reconstructions and restorations. Today, the Cathedral of St. Michael and St. Gudula offers visitors a stunning example of pure Gothic design, enriched with decorations in the styles of the Renaissance, Baroque, Classicism, and Modernism. This blend inspires admiration and evokes profound emotions in all who behold it.
The exterior of the cathedral presents a symmetrical Gothic composition with two towers. Each tower contains long staircases leading to a terrace 64 meters high. The main facade of the cathedral features 4 doors with 3 pointed arch portals, adorned with sculptures of saints above them. The facade was designed by Jan van Rusbroek, the architect of the Brussels Town Hall. The doors are embellished with intricate wrought iron work, and above the central entrance is a large stained glass window. Many visitors note that the cathedral's exterior bears a resemblance to the famous Notre Dame de Paris. This similarity is due to the twin towers featured in both historic structures. However, the Brussels Cathedral is somewhat smaller than its Parisian counterpart. Unlike the French facades, the Brussels Cathedral lacks a rose window, which has been replaced by a large vertical window in the Brabantine style.
The interior of the cathedral is stunningly beautiful. Along the central aisle runs a colonnade adorned with life-sized Baroque sculptures of the apostles. The windows are decorated with magnificent stained glass, many of which date back to the Renaissance. The entire atmosphere is imbued with historical charm and tranquility. The nave displays all the hallmarks of Brabantine Gothic architecture: moderately high quadripartite vaults, robust columns flanking the central nave, cylindrical shapes with capitals adorned with cabbage leaf motifs, and statues of the 12 apostles resting on them. Particularly notable are the stained glass windows, the oldest of which were created in the 16th century based on designs by Bernard van Orly. Most of the preserved glass windows date from the 19th century and were crafted by Jean-Baptiste Capernier. The dark brown tone of the pews contrasts sharply with the bright hall, adding depth to the space. In the nave stands a Baroque pulpit from the 17th century, created in 1699 by sculptor Hendrik Frans Verbruggen. Its base depicts Adam and Eve being expelled from the Garden of Eden after taking the forbidden fruit. At the top of the pulpit are the Virgin Mary and the Christ child, triumphantly piercing a serpent to symbolize redemption. The organ, built by organ maker Gerhard Grenzing in 2000, completes the cathedral's grandeur, blending modern craftsmanship with its historic splendor.
Visitors to the cathedral can admire paintings by Michel Coxey as well as Baroque sculptures by François Duquesnoy and Jérôme Duquesnoy the Elder. The chapel houses the cathedral's treasury, featuring outstanding works of religious art. Among its treasures are the Reliquary of the Miracle, a cross reliquary with an Anglo-Saxon inscription dating to around the year 1000, the Brussels cross depicting the Madonna and Child, created by German sculptor Conrad Meigt, from the time of Margaret of Austria, regent of the Netherlands, and the painting The Legend of Saint Gudula by Michel Coxey. In addition to daily and Sunday services, the cathedral hosts weddings and funerals of members of the royal family. Of particular reverence among the tombs is the grave of Count Frédéric de Merode, a hero of the Belgian Revolution. From the cathedral square, we continue our journey to the Congress Column.
The Congress Column in Brussels is a monument symbolizing Belgium's independence and the adoption of its first constitution. Erected in 1850, it commemorates the drafting of the first constitution following the Revolution of 1830, when Belgium broke away from the Netherlands and became an independent state. The column represents the victory and progress of Belgium as a sovereign nation. The National Congress was a temporary legislative assembly convened in Belgium in 1830 after the Belgian Revolution. Its purpose was to draft a national constitution for the newly established state, whose independence was proclaimed by the self-appointed provisional government on October 4, 1830. The Congress chose a constitutional popular monarchy as the form of government. Prince Leopold of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha was elected as the first king of the Belgians. The National Congress appointed him king on June 4, 1831, and 6 weeks later, he took the oath on the Belgian constitution in the Church of St. James on the Koudenberg in Brussels. Since then, this day, July 21st, has been celebrated as Belgium's National Day.
In 1831, the Belgian constitution was adopted, considered remarkably progressive for its time. Following this, the provisional government was dissolved. The National Congress remained in office until the first parliamentary elections in August 1831. At the base of the Congress column are 4 allegorical bronze female sculptures representing the 4 fundamental freedoms enshrined in the 1831 Constitution: freedom of the press, freedom of religion, freedom of association, and freedom of education. Atop the column stands a statue of King Leopold I, created by Guillaume Geffes, in honor of the Belgian victims of the wars of the 20th century. A monument to the unknown soldier is located at the base of the column. The Congress column is not merely a monument but a significant symbolic landmark commemorating Belgium's path to independence and freedom. It embodies the democratic values that form the foundation of the state and the sacrifices made to uphold these ideals. From the Congress column, we continue our journey to the Royal St. Hubert Galleries.
The Royal St. Hubert Galleries, Galeries Royales St. Hubert, in Brussels are Europe's first covered shopping arcade, opened in 1847. Beneath a single roof, more precisely, under a glass dome, lie the King's Gallery, the Queen's Gallery, and the Prince's Gallery. These galleries host a variety of shops and boutiques, along with cafes, patisseries, cinemas, and jewelry stores. While the prices tend to be on the higher side, a visit is worthwhile for the stunning architecture and elegant design alone. Remarkably, these galleries were constructed even before the famous Galleria Vittorio Emanuele in Milan. The design, created by the young architect Jean-Pierre Cloisonné around 1837, aimed to revitalize a working-class neighborhood by combining residential spaces, shops, cultural facilities, and leisure opportunities in one building. Construction began in 1846, and the official opening took place on June 20, 1847, in the presence of King Leopold I. Once referred to as the Umbrella of Brussels, the arcade, built in the Florentine Renaissance style, remains a beautiful testament to the city's commercial growth before the era of large department stores. The original glass roof, supported by a series of self-sustaining arches, features a fish-scale tile structure that enhances ventilation and prevents condensation. Originally illuminated by gas lamps, the galleries now feature scenographic LED lighting, which regularly hosts light and sound projections, adding a modern touch to this historic marvel.
The Royal St. Hubert Galleries, attracting over 6 million visitors annually, are now one of Brussels' must-see highlights and a site steeped in rich history. Since their opening, this elegant promenade has drawn large crowds, captivated by luxurious brands, stylish cafes, and cultural venues. Notable spots include the Vaudeville Theatre, the Cinéma des Galeries, and the Taverne du Passage, which was known as the Café des Arts until 1892 and served as a favorite gathering place for artists and writers of the time. The galleries also became home to a colony of French exiles, including figures such as Victor Hugo, Alexandre Dumas, and Edgar Quinet. Surrealist artists and members of the Cobra art movement were also regular visitors. A commemorative plaque marks a historic milestone, the first screening by the Lumière brothers, held on March 1, 1896, in the former offices of the La Chronique newspaper, located above the Myrte Patisserie in the Galerie du Roi. From the Royal Galleries, it's just a short walk to the next attractions, Jeanneke Pis and the famous Delirium Bar.
Jeanneke Pis, the female counterpart to Manneken Pis, is a statue of a small girl, approximately 50 centimeters tall. The sculpture was unveiled to the public in 1987. Its creator, Denis Adrien de Bouvry, intended the statue to emphasize gender equality in the Belgian capital. According to legend, however, Jeanneke Pis symbolizes loyalty. A traditional custom involves tossing coins into the fountain's basin, with the value of the offering symbolizing one's affection for a loved one. The money collected is used to support medical research projects and aid for those in need in Belgium.
Opposite Jeanneke Pis is the famous Délirium Café, recognized in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the largest selection of beers. The bar offers over 2,000 beer varieties from around the globe, including more than 400 Belgian beers. The Délirium Café achieved this Guinness World Record in 2004, with exactly 2,004 different beers available for tasting at the time. From Delirium, we continue our journey to the Royal Opera House La Monnaie.
La Monnaie, the Royal Opera House of Brussels, was founded in 1700 and is not only a venue for musical and artistic masterpieces but also the site of a pivotal event in Belgian history, the so-called opera that sparked a revolution. On August 25, 1830, La Monnaie hosted a performance of the opera The Mute Girl of Portesay by French composer Daniel Hubert. The opera tells the story of the Neapolitan uprising against Spanish rule in the 17th century, and its central theme, freedom and independence, resonated deeply with the audience. When the aria, Sacred Love of the Fatherland, was performed, the audience was overwhelmed with patriotic fervor. This emotional surge led the attendees to take to the streets of Brussels in protest against Dutch rule. By September, the protests had escalated into widespread unrest, ultimately culminating in Belgium's independence from the United Kingdom of the Netherlands. The performance of the Mute Girl of Portesay at La Monnaie thus played a key role in the Belgian Revolution, laying the foundation for the country's independence in 1830. From La Monnaie, we continue our walk to Place de la Bourse, the Stock Exchange Square.
The Brussels Stock Exchange, also known as the Bourse Palace, Palais de la Bourse, is an eclectic architectural masterpiece constructed in 1873 by architect Léon Suisse. The palace lends its name to Place de la Bourse, a central square on Boulevard Anspach. This building is a prominent example of 19th-century architecture, blending elements of the Neo-Renaissance style with the Napoleonic Empire style. The stock exchange symbolized Brussels' growing economic influence as Belgium's financial hub during the reign of Leopold II. Its facade and interiors are adorned with sculptures and reliefs crafted by renowned Belgian artists, including Auguste Rodin. Throughout the building, there are numerous symbols associated with economics, trade, and prosperity, such as allegories of wealth, abundance, wisdom, and success. The central entrance features magnificent reliefs and columns, giving the structure a majestic appearance. For more than a century, it served as the center of stock trading in Belgium. After trading activities were relocated, the stock exchange building transitioned into a cultural venue. Today, it regularly hosts exhibitions, concerts, and other events. Additionally, it houses a large beer museum celebrating Belgium's beer culture. Nearby, you'll find the Church of St. Nicholas, another site worth visiting.
The Church of St. Nicholas is one of the oldest churches in Brussels, built in the early 12th century. Located near the Grand Place, it is renowned for its collection of religious art and medieval architecture. The church was constructed in the former Merchants' Quarter and financed by traders in honor of their patron saint, St. Nicholas. While the original chapel used by merchants to honor their beloved saint no longer exists, remnants of the old Romanesque church, such as the entrance and some columns of the nave, can still be seen. The church suffered extensive damage from religious conflicts and numerous wars but was repeatedly rebuilt. Its interior surprises visitors with unique architectural features. The choir extends diagonally across the central nave and is the oldest surviving part of the church. Dating back to 1381, the church endured severe destruction during the religious turmoil of 1579, which contributed to the separation of the Catholic southern Netherlands from the Protestant northern United Provinces. A century later, it sustained even greater damage during the French bombardment of Brussels in 1695. The main facade was given a new look in 1956. Inside the church, visitors can admire a stunning reliquary of the Martyrs of Gorkum, Netherlands. The walls are adorned with numerous paintings by significant masters. Particularly noteworthy are the intricate confessionals, the Louis XVI-style pulpit from the late 18th century, the choir stalls, and the wrought iron work, also from the 18th century. Each of these elements is a remarkable example of sacred art and architecture.
The Fountain of the Blind in Brussels is a remarkable sculpture by artist Jos de Decker, depicting a scene from Peter Bruegel the Elder's famous painting The Parable of the Blind. This biblical parable, inspired by Christ's words to the Pharisees, states, "Let them alone. If the blind lead the blind, both will fall into the pit." In the early 1980s, Brussels undertook an extensive urban beautification project, which included the reinstallation of small drinking fountains, often placed where similar fountains had existed in the 19th century. These fountains were modeled after the famous Wallace fountains, which once dotted the streets of Brussels. The Fountain of the Blind stands at a historic location where one of the city's first markets was held. Its large basin was originally designed for both people and horses, while the smaller bowl served as a water source for pets. The fountains are adorned with sculptures inspired by scenes of daily life, reflecting Bruegel's masterful portrayal of the common people. From the Church of St. Nicholas, it's just a short walk to the heart of Brussels, the Grand Place.
The Grand Place, Grote Market, is the historic central square of Brussels, surrounded by magnificent 17th-century buildings. It is not only a top tourist attraction but also a site of great historical significance, considered the heart of the city. For many travelers arriving in Brussels without specific plans, this is often the first stop. The Grand Place is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The square is encircled by architectural masterpieces that once belonged to Brussels craftsmen and merchants. Two standout buildings deserve special attention: the Town Hall, Hôtel de Ville, and the Maison du Roi, King's House. The Town Hall is adorned with unique statues depicting scenes from the city's history. The beauty and historical value of the Grand Place are so extraordinary that we've dedicated an entire video to it. If you haven't seen it yet, you can find it here. From the Grand Place, we continue to the famous Manneken Pis, with a stop at the Chocolate Museum to delve into the rich tradition of Belgian chocolate.
The Choco Story Brussels Chocolate Museum invites visitors to immerse themselves in the fascinating world of cocoa and chocolate. Located near the famous Grand Place and the Manneken Pis statue, the museum offers an engaging exhibition covering the history of chocolate, from the ancient civilizations of the Maya and Aztecs to modern chocolate production. Visitors can learn about the cultivation of cocoa beans, their processing, and the production of various types of chocolate. A special focus is placed on the Belgian traditions of praline making and other chocolate specialties. At the museum, you'll have the chance to witness the process of creating these world-famous Belgian delights up close. The picturesque shops surrounding the museum are filled with iconic chocolate treats and souvenirs, attracting visitors from across the globe. From here, it's just a short walk to other landmarks, such as the Manneken Pis.
Manneken Pis, the famous peeing boy, is one of Brussels' most iconic landmarks. The small bronze statue of a naked boy serving as a fountain figure stands just 61 centimeters tall and is located near the Grand Place. The exact origins and circumstances of the statue's creation are unknown, though some accounts suggest it may date back to the 15th century, possibly as early as 1388. Two popular legends surround its origin. The war legend: during the Grimbergen Wars, the young child Godfrey III of Leuven, a future ruler, was said to have been placed in a cradle hung from a tree to inspire the soldiers. The boy reportedly urinated on the soldiers fighting below the tree. The rescue legend: a boy is said to have extinguished the fuse of a bomb with a stream of urine, preventing enemies from setting Brussels ablaze. The current design of Manneken Pis was crafted in 1619 by court sculptor Jérôme de Quesnoy. Since 1695, the statue has been stolen multiple times, including during the French occupation under Napoleon. Today, a replica created in 1965 stands at the fountain, while the original is housed in the Brussels City Museum in the King's House on the Grand Place. Manneken Pis symbolizes Brussels' identity, humor, independent spirit, and love of freedom. The tradition of dressing the statue dates back to 1615. The Manneken Pis wardrobe contains over 1,000 costumes, also preserved at the City Museum. Since 2017, a dedicated museum at Rue du Chêne 19 displays some of the most iconic outfits. From Manneken Pis, we turn left and continue to the Place de la Vieille Halle aux Blés, Old Grain Market.
Brussels is a captivating blend of old and new, offering a unique urban experience. Many of the older streets are paved with charming cobblestones, creating a nostalgic atmosphere. The numerous restaurants, bars, and cafes are individually designed, each with its own style and distinctive vibe, ensuring that every visitor can find a cozy spot to suit their taste. The streets are lined with buildings showcasing Gothic and Art Nouveau styles, making Brussels a living open-air museum of architecture. The city is also renowned for its comic book heritage. Vibrant murals bring to life characters such as the Smurfs, Tintin, and Snowy, as well as Blake and Mortimer. Since February 2022, Belgian citizens have been issued new passports featuring pages decorated with characters and scenes from Belgian comic books, yet another testament to the country's comic culture. Brussels also boasts an incredibly diverse street art scene. In certain neighborhoods, talented graffiti artists have transformed entire streets into open-air galleries. Strolling through these streets is a delight, with unexpected surprises waiting around every corner for visitors to discover.
At the Place de la Vieille Halle aux Blés, Old Grain Market, overlooking Rue du Chêne, stands an impressive bronze sculpture honoring the famous Belgian chansonnier Jacques Brel. This artwork, titled The Flight, was created by sculptor Tom Franzen and unveiled in 2017. The sculpture depicts Jacques Brel with his arms outstretched. In one hand, he holds a microphone, reminiscent of his iconic performances. The dynamic posture suggests that he is about to burst into one of his legendary melodies. The artwork captures the energy and passion that characterized his music and performances, making it a fitting tribute to one of Belgium's most celebrated artists. From the Place de la Vieille Halle aux Blés, we continue our walk to Place Saint-Jean.
On the way to the central station, we pass by Place Saint-Jean, where we encounter the striking sculpture of Gabriele Petit. This life-size bronze statue, symbolizing determination and courage, was created in 1923 by sculptor Egidio Rambo and stands on a concrete pedestal, the statue depicts Gabriele Petit wearing an ankle-length dress and a long cape. Her right hand is clenched into a fist and rests at her side, while her left hand is bent and placed on her chest. Her head is turned to the right, as if gazing into the distance. Gabriele Petit was a Belgian nurse and resistance fighter who worked for British intelligence during World War I. In 1916, at the age of 23, she was executed by the German occupiers. Before her execution, she shouted, "Long live the King! Long live!" But she was unable to finish her sentence. After the war, Gabriele Petit became a national heroine in Belgium, and her life inspired the creation of 3 films. From Place Saint-Jean, we continue towards the central station, with a brief stop at the Church of Saint Mary Magdalene.
The Church of Saint Mary Magdalene is one of the oldest churches in Brussels, with a history dating back to the 13th century. It was founded by the Brothers of Mercy and was once part of a monastery that was handed over to the Protestants in 1579. In the 15th century, the church was expanded with side aisles, and its facade, featuring a stained glass window and a small bell tower, was also added. The Baroque-style outer portal dates back to 1637. Although the church was destroyed during the French bombardment in 1695, it was swiftly rebuilt thanks to donations from the Bakers' Guild. The building is notable for its rich decoration, including stucco work, elegant columns, and intricate relief details. The tall bell tower above the main entrance is visible from many parts of the city. Inside, visitors can admire antique statues, paintings, and colorful stained glass windows depicting the Assumption of the Virgin Mary, St. Augustine, and St. Monica. In the early 20th century, the church faced demolition due to urban redevelopment plans, but it was fully restored mid-century to recapture its late 15th century appearance. Today, the Church of St. Mary Magdalene serves as a place of prayer, reflection, and liturgy. Its harmonious architectural features and serene atmosphere invite visitors to linger and find peace.
Near the church lies the central station, where you can conclude your day of exploring Brussels. From here, our journey will continue at the Mont des Arts, promising new discoveries and experiences in this vibrant city.